They have this creepy way of reaching out from the page or from the darkness and making you wonder, are you really alone?
So let's start with what they call the stories of a dark night. I want you to picture this. We're all sitting around a campfire. It's the only light for miles, and we're about to share some tales that are going to make you pull your blanket up just a little bit tighter.
Our first story throws us right into the middle of a wedding. But this isn't your typical celebration. It's a freezing January night, and the hall is way out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by nothing but dark, open fields. The perfect stage for something weird to happen. And that's exactly when a friend, Vinod, decides to tell everyone a local legend. And what a legend it is. He tells them about the Mandira Dayan. This is a story that goes back 60 years about a truly evil entity whose name alone is enough to send a shiver down everyone's spine.
Now you might be wondering, what exactly is a Dayan? Well, let me tell you, this is not your storybook witch. In South Asian folklore, a Dayan is a figure of pure dread. She's a supernatural predator who specifically goes after children, stealing their life force, their energy, their very souls.
See, Vinod's story hits close to home. It's about his own uncle. When he was just a little boy, a strange old beggar woman came up and whispered something in his ear. That same night, he came down with a raging fever that just would not break. Doctors, useless. Healers, they couldn't do a thing. For weeks, the boy just wasted away, until finally they called in a tantric, a kind of mystic.
And the verdict he delivered was just absolutely bone-chilling. His death is certain. The tantric explained that the Dayan had already taken the boy's soul. There was nothing left to fight for. The family was completely helpless against this thing they couldn't even see.
So, just as Vinod finishes his terrifying story, and that cold silence hangs in the air, bam! That 60-year-old legend comes crashing right into the present. The narrator's own 4-year-old son, who'd been playing this whole time, just starts screaming his head off. He runs to his mom, terrified, and he's pointing at a completely empty wall. He's crying, "Uncle, that's a woman over there. She's so dirty. Make her go away." All the adults just freeze. Their blood runs cold as they stare at where he's pointing.
But, you guessed it, there was absolutely nothing there. The wall was blank. The old legend about a witch that only children can see had just played out right in front of them.
All right, let's shift gears. We're moving from that one, deep dive legend, to a few quick hit encounters. These are the tales of the road and the well. Because, sometimes horror doesn't need a 60-year backstory. Sometimes all it needs is a lonely road at night or a deep, dark well. Take this story, for example. An auto rickshaw driver, it's 1 in the morning, and he picks up a woman on a totally deserted road. Where does she want to go? Of course, to an old abandoned bungalow that everyone in town knows is haunted. She gets out, goes inside to get the fare, and the hand that reaches out of the darkness to pay him? It's not human, it's monstrous. He slams on the gas and doesn't even think about looking back. Okay, our next story starts with just one thing: silence. That really deep, almost heavy quiet you only get in the hour just before dawn. A young girl is at the village well, all by herself, getting water before anyone else is awake. And then, that silence is broken. Not by a person, but a sound, a weird sound, coming from deep down inside the well. It's just wrong. So she keeps pulling, hauls her bucket over the edge, and when she looks inside, she just lets out this blood-curdling scream. So the big question is, what on earth did she see in a simple bucket of water to make her scream like that?
It wasn't her own reflection staring back at her. From the surface of the water, a monstrous face was looking up at her from the bottom of the well. And before she even had a chance to run, the rope from her bucket wrapped around her ankle and something powerful yanked her down into the darkness. Just gone.
Now those last two stories, they were quick, brutal, classic jump scares, right? The stranger on the road, the monster in the dark. But not all horror is like that. Our final story is about a different kind of horror, one that grows from grief. This is the tale of the ghoul of the pond.
Okay, this is where things get truly heartbreaking. You really have to see the two different worlds happening here. In Rakesh's world, his friends are alive and well. They wait for him by the pond every month, and he brings them food and they just talk. But then, there's the reality. His friends drowned in that very same pond. The police pulled their bodies out of the water 2 days later. And for 2 whole months, he's been living in this other reality,
Every single month, he goes to that pond to hang out with ghosts that only he can see.
And this, right here, is the real horror of the story. His parents just have to watch, totally heartbroken and helpless. And they don't know what's worse. Is their son being haunted by some actual ghoul from the pond, or is he being haunted by something even scarier, his own broken mind?
So when you take a step back and look at all these stories together, the Dayan, the ghost on the road, the thing in the well, Rakesh's pond, you start to see a pattern. You see the anatomy of a fear that really, truly never ends.
It really boils down to a few key ingredients. You've got your cursed locations, right? Those isolated places with dark secrets. Then there's the terror of unseen forces, the stuff only a kid can see. We also have the fragile mind, where grief itself becomes a monster, just like with Rakesh. And maybe the most important one, that razor-thin line between a scary story and a real threat.
Which leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? These stories are great for a scare, no doubt, but they're also about our deepest anxieties, about getting sick, about outsiders, about losing the people we love. So, are they just stories we tell each other in the dark, or are they a kind of mirror, showing us how we try to make sense of the horrors that are all too real?